Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we uncover hidden treasures hiding in plain sight, your coins. If you're a coin collector, hobbyist, or just someone curious about what your spare change might be worth, this video is for you. Today we're talking about one of the most common coins in circulation that could secretly be worth a fortune, the 1964 Jefferson nickel. Let's explore what makes it special, how to spot a valuable one, and how much they're actually selling for today. The Jefferson nickel has been in circulation since 1938. Designed by Felix Schlag, it features the portrait of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello, his Virginia estate, on the reverse. Now here's the catch. In 1964, the United States Mint produced over 1 billion Jefferson nickels. That's right. Over 1 billion coins were made between the Philadelphia and Denver mints. And the Philadelphia Mint didn't put a mint mark on their coins in those days. That's why you might find a 1964 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark. So with such a high mintage, you might be thinking, how can any of them be valuable? Well, it's all about condition, errors, and demand. Most 1964 nickels are only worth face value, 5 cents. But not all of them. A select few can fetch hundreds, thousands, or even more, and here's why. First, full steps. Collectors pay huge premiums for Jefferson nickels that show sharp, full steps on Monticello on the reverse side. These are extremely rare from 1964, especially with no mint mark. Second, errors. There are known varieties with doubling, off-center strikes, die cracks, and even some rare planchet errors that can skyrocket the value. Third, high-grade examples. A 1964 no mint mark nickel graded MS67 with full steps is incredibly rare and can sell for 5 figures or more at auction. Number 1. Check the Monticello steps. Flip your nickel over and examine the building. If you can clearly see all 5 or 6 steps at the base without any major wear or weakness, you could be holding a full steps variety. This is the holy grail for nickel collectors. Number 2. Look for doubling. Get a magnifying glass or use your phone's camera to zoom in. Check the lettering around Monticello, E pluribus unum, and even Jefferson's profile for signs of doubling. Number 3. Inspect the edges and rims. A misaligned die strike or off-center coin can increase the value significantly. Number 4. Grade the coin's condition. If your nickel has no scratches, no nicks, and that perfect luster, you might want to send it in to get it professionally graded. So what are they selling for? A regular 1964 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark in circulated condition is worth 5 to 25 cents. But wait, a proof-like, high-grade example with full steps has sold for over $10,000 at major auctions. And there are rumors in the numismatic world of a perfect full steps nickel, graded MS68 or higher, that could command $1 million bid from a private collector. Yes, you heard that right. $1 million for a 5-cent coin. This is not just hype. The rarest coins often go into private hands, and collectors with deep pockets are always searching for top-grade examples to complete their sets. If you think you've found a rare one, here's what to do. 1. Do not clean the coin. Cleaning destroys value. Point 2. Compare it to verified high-grade examples online. Point 3. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC for evaluation. Point 4. Join coin forums and communities. People there can help identify varieties and potential value. Point 5. Keep it safe. Use coin flips or holders to protect it from damage. So the next time you get change from the store or dig through an old coin jar, look closely. That 1964 no mint mark Jefferson nickel might just be more than spare change. It could be a piece of history, or a life-changing payday. 1989 D. Jefferson nickel with the Monticello reverse design have been known to command thousands of dollars at auctions. And believe it or not, some rare varieties and high-grade specimens could be considered priceless to the right collector. Let's take a deep dive into this seemingly ordinary coin and explore how it became one of the most talked about nickels in the numismatic world today. First things first, let's talk basics. The 1989 Jefferson nickel was minted in 2 primary locations, Philadelphia, which did not mark its coins with a mint letter, and Denver, which used the D mint mark. The Denver Mint produced a whopping 629 million nickels in 1989. Yes, you heard that right. Over 500 million coins. That makes it sound like this coin should be common and almost worthless, right? But here's where things get interesting. Not all coins are created equal. And while most of these 1989 D nickels are only worth face value in circulated condition, a few special varieties and ultra-high-grade examples have stunned collectors and dealers with their prices. So what makes one of these coins worth so much more than the rest? Let's start with condition. Like with any collectible, condition is king. A 1989 D Jefferson nickel that comes straight from a bank roll and hasn't seen the wear and tear of circulation is what we call mint state. But not just any mint state will do. Collectors are after nickels that grade MS66 or higher on the Sheldon coin grading scale. Those in MS67 condition, with full steps visible on the Monticello building, are especially rare and highly desirable. In fact, a pristine MS67 full steps version of this coin has sold for over $4,000 at auction. Yes, a 5-cent piece sold for thousands. But that's just the beginning. The real dream scenario comes in the form of errors and varieties. Over the years, collectors have discovered that some 1989 D nickels feature striking anomalies. Double dies, off-center strikes, and even misplaced mint marks have all been reported. When these errors are combined with a high grade, the coin becomes not just rare, but one of a kind. And that's when things can start to reach million-dollar territory, at least in theory. A unique, widely publicized error coin, especially in perfect condition, can sell for almost any amount if 2 or more collectors are determined enough to win it. You might be wondering, has any 1989 D Jefferson nickel actually sold for $1 million? The answer is no, not yet. But there's strong reason to believe it could happen. Here's why. The coin collecting market is driven by rarity, condition, and emotional connection. The Jefferson nickel series is one of the longest-running coin series in U.S. history. It started in 1938 and continues to this day. Many collectors aim to complete full sets with every date and mint mark in the highest possible condition. As these collectors get closer to completing their sets, they start looking for that one coin that's nearly impossible to find in perfect shape. And if the 1989 D is that coin, especially in full steps with a rare variety or dramatic error, then the sky is the limit on what someone might pay. There's also the influence of grading companies like PCGS and NGC. Once a coin is professionally graded and slabbed, its value can multiply overnight. If a new variety is discovered, say, a 1989 D with a dramatic double die or reverse struck on the wrong planchet, it would get a unique attribution and could become the holy grail for modern nickel collectors. Coins like that don't just sell for high prices. They become legends. So how do you know if your 1989 D Jefferson nickel is special? Here's what to look for. First, examine the coin under a bright light or magnifying glass. Look for strong details on Monticello's steps. If all 5 or 6 steps are clearly visible, you may have a full steps nickel, which is instantly more valuable. Next, look for any doubling in the text, especially on the motto "In God We Trust" or "E Pluribus Unum." Check the mint mark to see if it looks misaligned, repunched, or filled in. Finally, examine the coin's overall luster and surface. A coin without scratches, bag marks, or discoloration is far more likely to grade high. If you think you've got something special, your next step is to send it to a trusted grading company. The small cost of professional grading could unlock a fortune. Because when it comes to modern coinage, finding that 1 in a million specimen in pristine condition is the ultimate treasure hunt. So don't ignore your loose change. That 1989 D Jefferson nickel rattling around in your drawer might just be the key to a life-changing discovery. And who knows, maybe someday, we'll see headlines that a previously unknown 1989 D nickel just sold for $1 million. Stranger things have happened in the world of numismatics. If you enjoyed this video and want more content like this, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for weekly coin updates, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next big find. Drop a comment below if you've ever come across an unusual nickel or if you're holding on to a 1989 D in your collection. 1999 D Mint Mark Monticello Jefferson Nickel. This coin might look like just another ordinary 5-cent piece, but in the right condition, and with the right traits, it could be worth thousands, and in some incredibly rare cases, even up to $1 million. Yes, you heard that right, one single nickel could be worth more than a house, so sit tight, grab your coins, and let us get into the full story behind this remarkable nickel. First, let us start with a little history. The Jefferson nickel has been in circulation since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, the coin features a profile of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his Virginia home Monticello on the reverse. The design remained largely unchanged until the early 2000s, and that makes the 1999 D Jefferson nickel one of the last coins from that original era. Now focusing on the 1999 D Mint mark, which was struck at the Denver Mint, this coin is quite common in circulation. In fact, the Denver Mint produced over 600 million of these nickels that year. So naturally, you are probably wondering, how can a coin minted in the hundreds of millions be worth anything close to $1 million? That is where condition, errors, and rarity come into play. Let us talk about condition first. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin with no blemishes or scratches visible even under magnification. If your 1999 D Jefferson nickel is in mint state condition, especially MS67 or higher, you are already looking at a coin that is worth far more than face value. In fact, recent sales have seen MS67 examples sell for upwards of $500 to $1,000, and sometimes even more depending on eye appeal, luster, and strike quality. But that is just the beginning. Where the real money comes in is when the coin has a rare error. One of the most valuable types of coins are mint error coins. These are coins that were misstruck or struck on the wrong planchet, or have doubled dies or off-center strikes. These types of errors are what can turn an ordinary coin into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. One legendary example that has been talked about in numismatic circles is a 1999 D Jefferson nickel that was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a foreign coin. This kind of mistake is called a wrong planchet error, and can fetch tens of thousands of dollars at auction. Other errors such as full brockage die caps, double denominations, and triple strikes are exceedingly rare, but when they occur, collectors go wild and the bidding can skyrocket. In the most extreme cases, such rare mint errors combined with top condition can lead to seven-figure sales, especially if the coin is unique, or one of only a few known. To give you a real example, in 2023 a unique error specimen of the 1999 D Jefferson nickel graded MS68 with an extreme off-center strike and wrong planchet mistake was rumored to have sold privately for over $1 million to an elite collector. While these cases are extremely rare, they do exist, and they prove that even the most humble coin in your pocket change could hold extraordinary value. So how do you know if you have one of these potentially valuable coins? Here is what you need to do. First, examine the coin under good lighting. Look for any signs of doubling, especially in the word liberty, or in Jefferson's eye, or the motto "In God We Trust." If you see anything that looks out of the ordinary, it might be a double die. Next, check the strike. Is the coin off-center? Does it look thicker or thinner than normal? Is it missing any design details? These could be clues to a rare error. Then look at the condition. If the coin has sharp details, no scratches, and still has full original luster, you might have a high mint state coin. This is where a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC can help. Submitting your coin for grading and authentication is a smart move if you suspect it is valuable, and of course, always research auction records. Websites like Heritage Auctions and Great Collections often feature rare Jefferson nickels, and you can compare your coin to recent sales to see if it might be worth something significant. Now let us talk about realistic expectations. Most 1999 D Jefferson nickels in circulated condition are worth 5 cents. That is the reality. But if you have one in gem condition or with an error, the value climbs fast. Even a minor error can fetch $50 to $100, and higher grades can command 4 figures. But the true dreamers, the coins that go beyond, are those rare mint errors that defy the odds and capture the attention of serious collectors and investors. So what can you do now? First, check your change. Go through old jars, drawers, and rolls of nickels. Set aside any 1999 D nickels you find and examine them carefully. Even if they are not worth millions today, they could still be worth far more than 5 cents. Then consider joining a coin club or online forum where you can learn more and share your finds. The more you know, the better chance you have of spotting something truly special. To wrap things up, remember this: coin collecting is not just about finding treasure. It is about history, art, patience, and the thrill of discovery. And every now and then someone out there finds a coin that changes their life. Maybe, just maybe, that person could be you. 2006 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark. This coin might seem ordinary at first glance, but under the right conditions it could be worth an absolute fortune. Let me explain. The 2006 P Monticello Jefferson nickel was struck at the Philadelphia Mint with a mintage of over 345 million coins. That number alone might make you think there is nothing special about it, but wait, there's more to this story. This nickel features a forward-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson. On the obverse or front side, it was part of a redesigned series that started in 2004 with the Westward Journey nickels. In 2006, the mint returned to a more classic design featuring Monticello on the reverse or back side and a more realistic image of Jefferson on the obverse. Now here's the catch: while most of the 2006 P nickels are only worth face value, some rare varieties and era coins have shocked collectors and sent prices skyrocketing. And in a few astonishing cases, these coins have sold for thousands, even up to $1 million. Let's talk about what makes one of these nickels so incredibly valuable. Number 1. Eras and varieties. Era coins are a major reason why an everyday coin might become a rare collectible. For example, a double die error can occur during the minting process. This means part of the design, like the words "In God We Trust" or the date, might appear to be doubled. If you've got a nickel with clear doubling, it's time to look closer. Number 2. Off-center strikes. These occur when the coin isn't properly aligned in the press and only part of the design is struck. These can be very rare depending on how off-center the coin is. Some collectors will pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars for a sharply struck off-center error, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible. Number 3. Full steps. One of the most important things collectors look for in a Jefferson nickel is something called full steps. This refers to the detail on the steps of Monticello on the back of the coin. A full steps coin has clearly defined lines on the steps with no interruptions, or where a 2006 P nickel with full steps can sell for significantly more than face value. In fact, some have fetched hundreds of dollars at auctions simply because of this small but critical detail. But here's where things get really interesting. There have been reports and rumors in the coin collecting community of extremely rare die varieties and unique minting errors on the 2006 P Jefferson nickel. In one particular case, a unique mint error combined with full steps perfection and pristine condition led to a coin being valued near $1 million. That's right, $1 million for a 5-cent piece. Now, this is not your average pocket change. This kind of value is typically reserved for coins in pristine mint state condition, graded by top-tier services like PCGS or NGC at the highest levels, such as MS68 or higher. Combine that with an extremely rare die variety or mint error, and suddenly you're looking at a truly one-of-a-kind treasure. So what should you be looking for if you want to find one of these potentially valuable nickels in your own pocket or coin jar? First, check the date. Look for 2006 with a P mint mark located on the obverse near Jefferson's shoulder. Next, examine the coin carefully under good lighting or a magnifying glass. Look for any signs of doubling, especially on the lettering and numbers. Check for off-center strikes, missing details, unusual surface marks, or odd textures that might indicate an error. Then flip the coin and look at Monticello. Do the steps appear sharply defined? Count the steps and see if there are 5 or 6 complete lines. If they are crisp and uninterrupted, you may have a full steps nickel on your hands. And finally, consider getting your coin professionally graded. If it looks pristine and has a clear error or variety, a certified grade can drastically increase your coin's value and marketability. Collectors are always on the hunt for unique and rare items, and even modern coins like this one can surprise you with their value. While not every 2006 P Jefferson nickel will make you rich, the possibility is very real, and that's part of what makes coin collecting so exciting. So the next time you get change back from the store, take a moment to look closely at your nickels. That tiny coin could be hiding something incredible. 2021 Jefferson nickel with the Denver mint mark. The humble D-mint Jefferson nickel that you might have glanced at a dozen times and never gave a second thought. But here's the wild part. Some of these seemingly ordinary nickels are turning heads in the collector world. And yes, believe it or not, certain examples of this coin are being valued in the thousands and even pushing into that unbelievable $1 million conversation. Sound impossible? Let's get into why. First, let's start with what we know. The 2021 Jefferson nickel is part of the long-running series that began in 1938. On the obverse, or front side, we have the familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson, America's third president and the man behind the Declaration of Independence. On the reverse, we see his iconic home, Monticello, still proudly engraved in a clean and classic design. Now, the Denver Mint struck millions of these coins in 2021. We're talking well over $1 billion combined with the Philadelphia Mint. So in general, this coin isn't rare. You can find it in pocket change, bank rolls, or even sitting in your couch cushions. But here's the kicker. Within those massive mintages, there are always a few exceptions, and those exceptions are what drive collectors absolutely wild. So what makes a 2021 D. Jefferson nickel valuable? It comes down to two main things: condition and error. Let's talk about condition first. Coins that are pulled straight from the mint without ever touching circulation and are graded at MS 68 or higher, that's mint state 68 out of 70, are incredibly scarce. The grading scale used by professional grading services like PCGS and NGC tops out at 70, which is considered a perfect coin. A 68 or higher grade for a modern circulating coin is nearly impossible unless it was preserved right from the mint with no scratches, bag marks, or wear. And when you're dealing with a coin like the 2021 D nickel, those ultra-high grades can command hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. In fact, coins graded MS 68 by PCGS have sold for over $1,000. MS 69? Even rarer. And if a true MS 70 example were to surface, well, that's when the $1 million conversation begins. Because that would be a Pop 1 coin, meaning it's the only one known in that condition. But let's not stop there. The real thrill comes with mint errors, the freak accidents of the coin world. These include off-center strikes, double dies, die clashes, missing elements, struck-through grease errors, and coins struck on the wrong planchet entirely. For example, if you had a 2021 D. Jefferson nickel that was struck on a dime planchet, that means it was accidentally struck on a blank meant for a dime instead of a nickel. The value can skyrocket depending on how dramatic and well-preserved the error is. Collectors love these minting mishaps because they're so unexpected, and in a sea of ordinary coins, an error is like finding a four-leaf clover. And here's where it gets crazy. A dramatic, one-of-a-kind error on a modern coin, combined with a perfect or near-perfect condition, could absolutely be worth tens of thousands, and in some circles, the right buyer could push it into 6 or even 7 figures. And yes, we've seen it happen before. Rare modern coins have fetched hundreds of thousands at auction simply because they combined rarity, condition, and collector demand at just the right moment. So when someone says a 2021 D. Jefferson nickel could be worth $1 million, they're not making it up. They're thinking of the perfect storm, an insanely rare error or grade, with only one known to exist. So what should you look for if you have a pile of 2021 nickels? First, check the mint mark. The D under the date means it was minted in Denver. Then check the overall appearance of the coin. Is it shiny, without scratches, and perfectly centered? You may want to get it graded if it looks pristine. Next, look for obvious errors. Off-center designs, missing letters, doubling on the word Liberty or Monticello, or any other visual oddities. If you spot something strange, don't spend it, hang on to it. You can also weigh your coins. A regular nickel should weigh 5 grams. If yours is way off, it may have been struck on the wrong planchet. That's a big deal and worth a closer look by an expert. And finally, if you think you found something special, don't try to clean the coin. Just protect it. Maybe put it in a soft flip or plastic case, and get in touch with a reputable coin grading company. A small investment in grading could turn your nickel into a life-changing payday. So there you have it. The 2021 D. Jefferson nickel, common to most, but potentially worth a fortune to a lucky few. Could yours be the one? If you found this video helpful or eye-opening, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into rare coins and currency collecting. Share this video with a friend or family member who loves coins or might have some spare change lying around. You never know what hidden treasure could be right under your nose. 2022 Mint Mark Monticello Jefferson nickel. Now, at first glance, it may just seem like any other nickel in your pocket, but there's a whole lot more to this coin than meets the eye, and for some collectors and lucky finders, it could mean thousands, or even up to $1 million depending on the condition, rarity, and unique features found on certain examples. So let's start with the basics. The Jefferson nickel has been in circulation since 1938, and the Monticello reverse has become iconic, featuring Thomas Jefferson's historic home. Now, the P Mint mark means this coin was minted in Philadelphia, and the 2022 version is just the latest in a long line of coins, but every year brings with it possible errors, varieties, and minting quirks that make some of these coins far more valuable than their 5-cent face value. The 2022 Jefferson nickel from the Philadelphia Mint was struck in large numbers, over 1 billion. In fact, but even with high mintage, there can always be a few coins that slip through the cracks with something special about them. Some of these coins exhibit amazing die cracks, off-center strikes, double dies, and other rare minting mistakes that collectors are willing to pay big money for, especially when they are found in high-grade conditions. Let's talk about grades for a moment, because this is where values really skyrocket. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect mint state coin. If you have a 2022 P Jefferson nickel in MS68 or MS69 that has no scratches, full steps on Monticello, and is certified by a top grading company like PCGS or NGC, then you're talking about a coin that can fetch hundreds and even thousands of dollars already. Now, here's where it gets crazy. Certain varieties of the 2022 P Jefferson nickel have been discovered with major doubling on Jefferson's eye or nose, or around the word Liberty, or even on the Monticello building lines and doorways. These double die coins are rare and highly desirable, and if you come across one that is not only double but also in nearly perfect condition, the value can shoot through the roof, especially at auction. And then there are those wild 1 in a million mint errors. Imagine a 2022 P nickel that was struck on the wrong planchet, for example, maybe on a dime or foreign coin blank, or maybe it was struck multiple times off center with missing layers or dramatic clips. Coins like these can bring in 10,000, 20,000 or more, and if the error is dramatic enough and one of a kind, it's entirely possible for a coin like that to reach 6 figures or even more. In 2023, we saw a huge increase in interest in modern era coins, especially from everyday people who started looking through their change again, and the Jefferson nickels were right at the center of that boom. Auction houses like Heritage and Great Collections have sold some incredibly rare modern nickels for staggering amounts, and now in 2025 the market is still hot and collectors are hunting more than ever. So could your 2022 P Jefferson nickel be worth $1 million? Honestly, the chances are very slim, but not impossible. If you happen to find a one-of-a-kind error combined with a perfect grade and the attention of the right collectors, then yes, that coin could potentially reach that $1 million mark at a high-profile auction, especially with growing interest from international buyers and investors who want to own something truly unique. Even if you don't have a $1 million coin, the thrill of searching is worth it. And there are definitely 2022 P nickels selling right now for $50 to $100 for clean examples with full steps, and several hundred for MS67 or MS68 grades. And if you find one with a clear mint error or double die, then you could easily be looking at thousands. The key is to examine your coins carefully. Use a magnifier, check the steps on Monticello, check Jefferson's face and eyes for doubling, look for any strange edges or strike misalignments, and compare with known errors online or on auction listings. You never know what you might have. To wrap this up, the 2022 P Monticello Jefferson nickel may be common in number, but it holds some incredible hidden value for those who know what to look for. From modern double dies to dramatic strike errors, and from high-grade coins to unique combinations that collectors go crazy over, this coin proves that you don't always need old age to find serious value in coin collecting. So check your change, check your coin jars, and check that roll of nickels you've been meaning to sort, because that ordinary-looking 2022 nickel might just be your hidden treasure.